Welcome to the Bourbon Show, whatever
Whatever we're going to call it.
Yeah, whatever we're going to call it. We come up with a couple of creative names, but haven't officially come up with another name. But
We'll get there.
Yeah, we'll get there. But anyway, so today we're talking horse soldier. So pretty cool story behind it, right? I'll let Chris kind of tell the story about it in just a second. Chris, you've had this, right?
I have not had this one. I've had a different horse soldier. Yeah.
And you have
I've
not
never
had
had
it. All right, so neither have I. So this will be a pretty interesting one. But first of all, I want to talk about Jefferson's Reserve. So the interesting story about this is, so last night I coached my kids' 7th and 8th grade lacrosse team, and we had our banquet last night, and we had the banquet out at a house out in Crestwood. It's actually a big farm. I'm struggling with the name of it. I thought I'd come up with it, like one of those things where you go, oh yeah, I remember.
Yeah,
well, I can't remember it. But anyway, maybe it'll probably come to you in the middle of having this conversation. But anyway, it's kind of cool. So they gave us a bottle for being coached. But the interesting thing about this is that the farm where we had this banquet last night, they grow corn, which is the corn they use to make the Jefferson Reserve, which is kind of cool.
Very neat.
That's the connection there. So anyway, we're not going to taste it because I'm actually going to have the boys sign the bottle tonight or Saturday at practice because they didn't get a chance to do it last night. So they'll be signing it, which is one reason why I'm not going to open it. But anyway, I may grab another bottle and bring it in. And
that would be a good one to do on the show.
Yeah, that'd be a good one to do on the show. But I will tell you that they do make their Jefferson Ocean, and I've had that. I only had it because they say the ocean movements or whatever help, make it. I didn't like it. But anyway.
I'll be real honest. I have had it, and it's one of the most disappointing things that I've ever had in bourbon because the marketing makes you think it's just going to be fantastic.
It's disappointing because of the marketing and the prices.
But other Jeffersons that I've had, I've liked all of them. It's just the ocean or the aged at sea, I think they call it.
Yeah.
The problem with it is it's so built up that it's disappointing. Yeah. I don't really know how good it is because I had this high perception.
That one's not though.
I have not had that particular one. I have not had that one.
Let's go.
Yeah. So the interesting thing, I would agree with Chris on that. It almost goes back to the Blackened we did from Metallica.
Yeah.
Which I was hoping it was really good because I'm a huge fan of Metallica, but it was disappointing.
Yeah.
It's kind of like one of those songs they come out. Like I'd go to their concerts and I'm waiting for all their old stuff and they play a brand new song, and you're like, oh, okay, I don't know this song. I mean, you're just kind of like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you're like, okay, hurry up.
I don't know that one.
Let's get through this one. Let's get this one. Oh, okay. And then one comes out, and you're like, I'm going crazy. But anyway, all right, so today we're talking horse soldiers. So, Chris, why don't you tell the story behind this?
And I'm going to kind of prelude this as a veteran. I really want this to be good.
Yeah.
But as I understand it, this was this group, bourbon was started by a group of former Green Berets who dropped into, I don't know if they dropped, they went into Afghanistan right after 9/11, and in order to actually execute some of their orders and do some of the things they needed to do, they actually had to do it on horseback. And you can just envision the old West, but out in, in the Afghanistan environment. So that in itself is very cool. And just in getting ready for the show, we found out something that I didn't know. They call it Forged in Fire is kind of a slogan on there, and I think we took a picture if you can throw that up there. I didn't know this. We looked it up. Some metal from the World Trade Center that was down on 9/11 was actually given to these guys, and they forged it into the mold that's used on the bottle. So to me, that's a super cool story.
Yeah, it is.
So I really, really, really want this to be good. Yeah. I do.
And I'll add one quick thing. So I remember reading or watching some documentary on these guys, and when they first went to Afghanistan, I could be wrong. Somebody's probably going to correct me here. But the reason they were on horseback is not because we couldn't give them a Jeep or a tank or anything. It's because they wanted to blend in with the soldiers. So they wanted, even though they were U.S. soldiers, they blended in so that the Afghanistan, whoever they were fighting.
Afghanis.
I don't know if it was Afghanis. I think it was. But anyway, whoever it was, the bad guys. Okay, put it that way. But the bad guys, they didn't have tanks and things like that. They actually rode around horseback. So to blend in, they started riding horseback so that they wouldn't know they're the enemy. That's the story I got anyway. Could be wrong. But anyway, if that's the story, it just adds to it that's why they were on horseback. But anyway, so as we always do, we're going to taste it. We all taste it neat first, and then we add ice. You guys go ahead and taste it. But I really would encourage you to, if you haven't watched our show, I would certainly encourage you to make sure that you taste bourbon that way, because I will tell you, it does change the flavoring when you try it neat and then you add it a little bit of ice to kind of chill it down or water it down.
And I would add to that, a couple of episodes ago, you weren't here because you were playing golf, and we really threw you under the bus.
That's okay. I play golf with not my clubs, by the way.
The type of glass makes a big difference too. The nose on this, the smell is fantastic. I love that.
Yeah, this is. But let's go back to I'm not going to say. Let's go back to the golf thing. So I took a trip down to Florida, by the way, and I'm going to vent for a quick while you guys taste.
You're having another squirrel moment.
No, I flew down to Florida playing a golf tournament, a one-way direct flight, right? Or actually it's two-way, but a direct flight down there. I checked my bags. The same time the guy was flying with, he checked his bag. Mine don't show up. How is that even possible? But it was possible because that's what happened.
That's why everybody brings on so much carry-on bags now.
And had to rent clubs. Sweet set of Wilsons, though, I will say that. But it wasn't the same. All right, so what do you guys think?
I kind of like it. And, full disclosure, you all knew this. We hadn't disclosed this before we started recording. I've actually had the version of Horse Soldier that's more expensive, and I was disappointed.
This is small batch?
Yeah, this is a small batch. I think it's the middle price point. Is that right?
What is the price point on this? It's about $70. I bought it. I should know, but I bought 2 or 3 at the same time, so I wasn't sure exactly how much.
So now that's the MSRP on their website. I don't think it sells for that much in most local places, but I may be wrong.
It was like $60.
It was okay,
$60, something like that. Yeah, because I bought 3 of them, and I know one was a little bit more pricey, and I paid like I don't know, it cost you $200. So yeah. The one I did buy was probably close to $100. So I think the other one's around $50, $60, something like that. All right. So what do you think?
Actually, I really like this, but I don't like it $70. If this was a lower price point, I would probably like it a lot better. But I am very, very sure that when I put an ice cube in this, I'm not going to like it as much.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be watered down too much.
It's a little sweet.
It is sweet.
It's very sweet.
Lots of caramel, very sweet, a lot of corn.
Sweet. Yeah.
It's okay.
Not a fan?
It's okay.
It's not that I'm not a fan. I probably don't like it as much as I was hoping to like it based on the story.
Yeah. I get it.
It's always interesting how different bourbons hit you.
Yeah.
This one sits on my tongue.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely tastes a lot of the caramel. It's got a little bit of kick to it.
Just a little bit. Yeah.
I mean, it's okay. I wouldn't pay $70 for it.
Yeah. Well, this one to me was I didn't taste a whole lot in the beginning. Right when I first took it in, I didn't taste a whole lot. The taste came about 30 seconds after I'd already had it. Then it started to kind of, I don't know. It was strange the way I tasted it.
Yeah.
But I've cooled mine off. So you guys.
Yeah, I did, and I was right. I don't like it as much. Sometimes that matters. We did a podcast a couple of weeks ago. I think it just published last week on something that was a much higher proof, and it tasted better when you put a little bit of water in it because it brought out a lot of flavors.
Yep.
And we did that last night at our Bourbon Night event, and everybody there said, yes, it tastes better with a little bit of water. Yeah. This is the opposite. It tastes better just neat.
I would agree. I mean, it took the flavoring away.
Yeah.
And not that it had a ton of flavoring.
Interestingly enough, it's got about the same amount of burn as it had, which usually it'll cut the burn. I'm getting the same amount, but just less flavor.
Same amount. That's literally exactly what I was going to say. Not as good.
Yeah.
Yeah. No.
Don't water this down.
Look, for $70, I think you can buy something better. But look, for $70, the story behind it is a pretty cool story.
Oh, it's super cool, right?
You're supporting some guys that have done some unbelievable things that you and I wouldn't even dream of doing. Yeah. And so I thought it was worth a while. I actually wanted to taste it, but I like the story behind it too. And I will tell you, that's another thing that as we're kind of talking about this, we were talking to Daniel, the guy that did the show last week.
Yes. Yep.
And we were talking about bourbon collections. He's got 1,000.
He's got a crazy collection.
Yeah, he does have a crazy collection. So somebody had asked me, they knew I did the show, and somebody had said, hey, well, what kind of bourbons do you collect? And maybe we should do a show on that. Maybe we should bring in some bourbons that we do collect to kind of show. But the interesting thing is I don't collect the kind of things that everybody wants to connect.
Not the collectible stuff, but the stuff you like.
It's just reasons behind it. Like I bought this bottle. I have another bottle of it too. I didn't open it. This one I was going to open. The other one I'm not going to open only because it's got a cool story behind it. Like this one, this Jefferson Reserve. You can go find this in the store anywhere, right? It's not that big a deal. this is not a collector's item. However, it has a story to me, right? So my kids, in theory, gave that to me.
Right.
I've got a couple other bottles that I've collected just because of the story behind it. I'm not a Makers fan, right? But I've got a really cool U of L black Makers bottle that they produced at one time when Coach Strong was here. It's just a cool story, right? So I think that's sometimes how you start to collect bourbon is just the story behind it.
Yeah.
So anyway, let's rate this and we'll move. Go ahead.
No, I was going to suggest I have things that bottles of bourbon that I've drank most of it, but I'll never finish it because I've got several bottles that have a really coul story behind them. There's no way I'll finish that because then the story's over.
Yeah.
So you can collect bourbon for lots of different reasons.
Yeah.
Now that the cube I put in there is pretty much melted, there's hardly any.
There's no taste. Yeah.
Yeah. It's become a lot less flavorful for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. Not my favorite. Again, the story behind it is a very cool story. I was happy to spend the $60 or whatever I did to support these guys. And again, if I was giving a gift out to somebody and I want a really cool story, this would be in that mix of just having a really cool story behind it. Especially if somebody's never had it before, then it's just a really cool story. So
and it's not bad.
No, it's not bad at all. No, it's not bad.
I think it's good. It just needs to be more good, if that makes sense. Right? I don't want to say it needs to be better. It needs to have what it's got. It needs to have more of it. Yeah. And the price point is a little bit difficult for that bourbon. But then again, to your point, I really want to support these guys. This is a super cool story. These are the kind of people that I like to personally support.
Yeah,
it's not made in Kentucky, is it?
I don't believe so.
This producer said they have one in Kentucky. It's in Somerset, Kentucky.
It's in Somerset. Okay.
Oh, is it? Okay.
All right.
It may not be their only distillery, but
right.
They said they have 4. Okay, so yes, they have 4.
Oh, it's bottled in Columbus.
So they're probably sourcing it in multiple places. I don't believe they have their own distillery. That's fairly common. And it's one of those things, having had the more expensive version, which I think is 90 MSRP on it, I would not buy that one. It's just not good enough to support the price. I probably would buy this. I just wouldn't buy it on a regular basis. Yeah. And I would do it because of the story.
Yep. Okay, let's
I'll give the bourbon itself a 6, and I'm giving it the 6 because of the story.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Otherwise, at that price point, I would have to go down.
Yeah, I don't think it's that. I mean, I'm gonna go 6.5. Just because of the story, I go 7.
Yeah.
But the flavoring and all that is really a 6. And that's neat, by the way. If I put a cube in there and go down from there, just because
I would never drink this again and put ice in it.
It's one of those things that now I wish there are several bourbons we've had where I wish I would chill it as opposed to water it down. I think I'd give them a different flavor.
I agree. Yeah.
But for this, that's how we normally do it, so we want to be consistent about it. So I'm gonna go 6.5.
5.
Yeah.
Okay.
5 or 6. I mean, it's fine. I mean, I'm drinking it.
Yeah.
But I'm not overwhelmed by it or anything. The story's super cool.
Yep.
I wish it was better. But I will never buy it.
I'd be interested in there is a lesser expensive version of this, and I don't know what that price point is. I'd be interested in trying that to see if it's getting the price point right.
Right.
Yeah. We'll see.
All right, so there it is, Horse Soldier. Pretty good. Great story behind it. So make sure you get out and support those guys. That's it for another week. Make sure you tune in. Oh, and by the way, here's Jefferson Reserve. Try that too. The Ocean was just very average. It's actually below this, I'd say, if I were giving it a rating. But maybe we'll bring the Jefferson Reserve in and try that.
That'd be a good
We're just
one.
not going to open that particular bottle.
This is not less than that, though.
No.
Yeah, they're probably about the same, right?
Price point?
Yeah.
I think so, yeah. I'm not sure.
Well, the price point's the same, but
I can tell you the Jefferson's Reserve is better than the Horse Soldier.
Maybe I shouldn't be looking at the Jefferson's Reserve while I'm tasting the Horse Soldier because I know what that tastes like.
Oh, so you've had it?
Yes.
Okay, got it. Okay,
yes.
Got it. Yeah.
I've had that.
Okay.
And so I know what it tastes like, so it probably isn't helping that I'm tasting Horse Soldier while I'm looking at
I get it.
Jefferson's Reserve.
Yeah, that's it. All right, so anyway, that's it for another week. Make sure you tune in every week. We taste a bourbon and give you our opinion. And if you got a bourbon you'd like for us to try, make sure you reply back, and Whitney will let us know. We'll go out and buy it as long as it's less than $100. If it gets over 100, you may have to send us a bottle and we'll try it.
You're welcome to send us a bottle. We'll be happy to sample
you're
that
welcome.
for you.
Seriously, please.
Wait a minute. We missed one thing. We missed the shiver factor back behind the camera. Okay, she's not digging.
I didn't see the shiver factor though.
Little hot.
Little hot.
Yeah. I didn't see her do one of those, but I did see her, make faces.
Yeah.
I didn't see the face, but yeah.
Anyway, all right. So anyway, that's it for another week. Just make sure you tune in every week. And by the way, if you look at the name right here, we do another podcast, and actually not called Family Wealth Planning Partners. It's actually called The Money Puzzle. We actually have a podcast that we do as well as a TV show. TV show comes on every Saturday morning, 10:30 on ABC. Here at WHAS affiliate in Louisville. If you want to catch it and you're not in our market, you can go to our website, FamilyWealthPlanningPartners.com, and you can look at all the episodes. And if you want to catch us on YouTube, just search The Money Puzzle, and you'll get all of it. If you want to search for our bourbons, just look at Burgers and Bourbon, and you'll find all those there. At some point, we'll change the name, but for right now, we have it. So anyway, that's it. Let Eric, you want to sign us off for another week, and then we'll talk about next week.
Yep. So thanks for watching us on YouTube. Make sure you click that red button, subscribe, be the first to be notified whenever we drop any new content. If you want to leave us a review as well, we would greatly appreciate it. And please feel free to comment below if there's anything that we should try out in the future, whether it's $100 or less or not. So otherwise, thanks for watching. We appreciate it. See you next time.